The dungeon breathed an immense, suffocating presence pressing against the very air itself. Shadows twisted unnaturally along the corridors, crawling like living things, reacting to a predator that had just emerged from the void. In the midst of this darkness, a figure materialized, pale, silent, and completely unreadable. A holographic screen hovered before him, flickering with a simple, stark message. Player status 0. Stats 0 zeroths, 0 zeroths, 0. He observed the display for only a moment. From the shadows, small, deck shapes slithered forward. Goblins, their faces twisted in hunger, rushed him with feral intent. The first one lunged, teeth bared. With a flick of his hand, a jagged rock shattered its jaw. A system chime sounded faintly. Enemy defeated. New ability stolen. Feral instincts LVL1. His gaze remained cold, untouched. Another goblin attacked, another fell. By the time the last one collapsed, the cavern was silent except for the dripping of blood. I will not be weak, he thought. I will take everything. From the shadows, a taller silhouette observed him, a humanoid shape with bone-white skin and a mask fused to its face. 0. You smell like fresh evolution, it hissed. The stalker lunged, claws tearing through the air. The battle was an elegant massacre. The stalker's blades tore through stone, smashing the hero into pillars, but he never screamed, never flinched. He countered with exact strikes, siphoning fragments of the creature's essence. Shadows coiled around his hands as new powers integrated. Bone Grip LVL1, Predator's Bloodlust. The dungeon trembled as he absorbed the stalker's very essence. Veins glowed, red beneath his pale skin. Muscles flexed unnaturally. He rose, bones creaking, fully evolved. The system confirmed, evolution complete. New title, the Zero Born. New trait, Adaptive Predator. The dungeon quaked, recognizing a new apex entity. The next level descended deeper. Mist coiled along the walls like serpents. Skeletons emerged from cracks in the stone, advancing like a wave. He crouched, shadows wrapping around his hands, and darted forward, a phantom among monsters. Bones snapped, skulls shattered, powers accumulated. Claw Strike LVL2, Blood Scent LVL2, Night Vision LVL2. From the center of the floor rose the Blood Warden, its skin flayed, muscle twitching like living fire. It roared, a guttural sound that reverberated through stone. Its first strike carved the floor. The next split pillars. The hero dodged, countered, shadow energy flaring, slicing through exposed muscle. Blood sprayed as black shadows curled along his claws, absorbing the Warden's essence. Bloodforge regeneration, fleshcraft tendril manipulation. The Warden fell. Silence returned. He advanced, step by silent step. The Absol chamber awaited. Skeletons surged from every shadow, countless and relentless. The hero moved through them like water, a blur of claws and stolen power. Then came the Absol Overseer, a molten black bone giant with eyes like burning coals. It roared, swinging massive arms, shattering skeletons and stone alike. The hero phased, dodged, and struck with a combination of stolen powers and raw instinct. Shadows and bone flared as abilities merged. Absol Core LVL1, Adaptive Predator LVL2. When the Overseer fell, the floor itself seemed to bow in recognition of his supremacy. Finally, the last floor loomed, the Dungeon Core Overlord, colossal, with wings of broken bone, like a dripping like molten black blood. Its voice rolled like thunder through the chamber. You dare consume my children, Zero? The hero's expression remained blank. They were mine to take, he thought. The battle began. Every swing of the Overlord's wings threatened to shatter stone. The hero moved silently, calculating, phasing through attacks, countering with lethal precision. Powers stolen across dozens of floors fused into a terrifying arsenal. Bone armor, Bloodforge, Shadow Step, Feral Instincts, Predator's Bloodlust, Absol Core. Each strike tore into the Overlord, shadows consuming its molten black ichor. The Overlord shrieked as its body split, and the hero plunged through its chest. Shadow energy burning from the inside. An explosion of darkness and crimson light consumed the chamber. When the dust settled, only the hero remained. Silent, expressionless, dark cold. The system confirmed. All abilities stolen. All bosses defeated. Player 0. Ascension complete. The dungeon trembled in recognition. Shadows rose from every floor, twisting into monstrous forms, bowing in silent acknowledgement. He walked forward, a shadow cloak trailing behind him. Outside, the world waited red leaf forests, fractured skies, the ruins of a civilization long dead. The wind carried faint echoes of distant, broken screams. The hero did not flinch. He had no fear. He had no hope. Only one thought pulsed in the emptiness of his mind. Everything is mine. He stepped into the shattered sunlight, shadows coiling around his body like living serpents, absorbing the fractured world into his very presence. The forests, the ruins, the distant cities all trembled beneath him. Every creature, every dungeon, every soul that lingered in that broken realm knew the truth. A predator without origin, without stats, without limits had emerged. The Zero-Born had risen. He paused at the edge of a cliff above the red-leaf forest. The wind carried the scent of blood and ruin. With one step, he would descend into a world that measured power by numbers, unaware that a being with nothing had become the apex. His claws twitched, stolen powers flaring along his body. The world had underestimated him. A black streak of shadow surged across the sky, coiling and writhing as if alive, following the predator below. His eyes, cold and unblinking, scanned the horizon. There was no hesitation. There was no doubt. Every kill, every stolen ability, every dungeon foot conquered had prepared him for this moment. The world waited, fragile and trembling. The Zero-Born stepped forward, shadow and blood merging, and vanished into the red-leaf forest. The wind carried only silence and dread in his wake. Behind him, the dungeon collapsed, stone shattering into dust, its corridors twisting inward as if mourning the loss of its apex predator. But he did not look back. He was nothing, and yet he was everything. In the distance, monsters stirred, cities whispered rumors, the fractured sun cast long, bleeding shadows across the lands, and somewhere, the first signs of fear flickered in the hearts of those who had survived, realizing that a predator had emerged not from strength, not from numbers, but from the void itself. The Zero-Born moved through the broken world silently, collecting power, analyzing threats, and growing in ways no one could measure. Shadows clung to him like serpents, bones hardened and reshaped with every kill. Stolen powers merged seamlessly into one unyielding, unstoppable force. Every enemy that dared to rise fell instantly, feeding the ever-growing predator. In every ruined city, in every corrupted forest, in every collapsing dungeon, whispers traveled through the air. The Zero-Born has risen. Beware, all that you know will bend or break before him. And the hero, silent, emotionless, and deadly, walked on. No ally, no companion, no past to bind him. Only power, only evolution, only the void that had created him from nothing. The world trembled beneath his shadow, and the Zero-Born smiled just slightly, though no one could see it. The predator without stats had claimed existence itself,